Hello, everyone. Welcome to our kind of like twice a week yoga chat. So today, I think we'll be talking about 5 tips to refine your social or up your social media game. And I think people are started to sign in quickly. I think Cora will be hosting today. So let me see when I see her. And now I see her request. Accept. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I am a bit tired today.
Oh, really? Why? Oh, me too.
Actually, I had a staycation with my daughter yesterday. That makes me more tired.
I know, because now, I
I know.
mean, you're a mother, so you have to arrange everything, right?
A little bit. Also, I it's nice to actually be away for even a day. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I have FOGO, right? Fear of getting out. So it's not like home. And it's
Mm-hmm.
weird that bed was not comfortable and all that kind. So anyways, I'm okay otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And today our topic is
Social media.
social media, right? So as people are signing in right now, so maybe if you depend, I think this is something that I can ask those who are watching now. If you depend on social media, I would say depend, but if you use social media a lot to communicate about your work, or about your workshops or teacher, or even your classes, or even just teach people how to do yoga or fitness for that matter, please leave a message and then we can say hi. Anyway,
Can
so
I
what are
ask you
we
a
talking
question
about?
though?
Oh yeah,
Like
sure,
like
sure, sure.
can I first ask a question? Do you think it's
Mm-hmm.
necessary at this point, right?
Um,
For more like at this point for yoga teachers, do you think
mm-hmm.
having some presence on social media has become necessary? What
I
do you
think
think?
so. Yes, I
Yeah, me
totally
too.
agree.
Yeah.
Because it's not about promoting yourself, although some people might actually think it this way. And it's really about promoting your service, promoting what you do, what you love. And sometimes people just want a platform to share their views, and I think that's totally legitimate. And I know that, as yoga teachers, sometimes you might think, oh, well, I shouldn't really put my ego out there. I really should be very I shouldn't promote myself at all. But the thing is, people have been promoting it for hundreds of years. It's just different ways of doing that. And, social media just makes it very convenient and very easy to promote. But then back then,
Uh, Go ahead.
mhm,
Yeah,
speak.
I
Yeah,
agree.
go ahead.
I agree. So I think
Mm,
I think as yoga teachers, or actually as human beings, we need to evolve, right? And
mm-hmm,
maybe 10 years ago, you don't really need to. Well, 10 years ago, we may even need to teach online, right? But most of the time, when
mm-hmm,
it comes to technology, once it's there, it's not going to go back, right? And
mm-hmm.
so I think we as teachers have to consider that it has become a part of what we
Yeah.
need to learn too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
yeah,
think about like 20 years ago, like people put their the contents on a DVD or
yes.
a VCD, if you remember one of those things, for those youngsters out there. And I mean, it's a way of promotion, and it's a way of generating an income for a yoga teacher. So time has just evolved to a different media, and so a different platform, but the nature of promotion hasn't really changed. So
Yeah, and
if
it's not just promotion and marketing too, right?
Mhm,
Is a another channel. We can see it as another channel to actually teach
mhm,
something, or
absolutely, absolutely.
sharing our teachings, and outside of the mat, right? Because now there is a channel that we can do so. So even we learn things more, like we learn things online now, right? May it be
Exactly.
even yoga, even teacher training or anything, right? Now we learn online. So in that case, we should teach online, or share something online. Okay, let's talk about tips.
Okay, so do you want to start first this time? What are your 5 tips?
Sure. So one is my number one is share what you love. I think same as teaching, really, but social media is even more a dangerous place because there's just so much information out there, and it's very easy to fall in the trap for what I call writing for mass, meaning that you see what other people are posting. It's like, oh, you know what, that looks good. Like maybe I should do that too, and then it can become not authentic or becoming something that is not really resonate with yourself. You're just doing it because, oh, you know what, other people are doing it. And people tell me that I should do that in order to get likes or more followers. So this is what people like to see, and we do that. I think we same as teaching, we can only share what we're passionate about and what we know, what we love. So that's my number one. So number two is choose 1 or 2 platforms only. I think many people might be still new, right, in the social media game. But and then a lot of students, when a lot of newer teachers in the beginning, they think they have to be everywhere. Oh, they have to be on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on newsletter, and then they overwhelm themselves. My better approach is to choose 1 or 2 platform, and even one to start to grow the audience there, instead of thinking about they have to be on various platforms. Our ultimate job is still teaching, right? This is not. This is just one channel, right? And then it tends to overwhelm us when we feel we need to be everywhere, and that would also dilute the audience. So just choose 1 or 2 platform. Let's say, right, Instagram is the easy one. I think most people are on it, right? I have never used TikTok. And if you are a blogger, let's say, if you like to write long caption, then maybe you can start a newsletter, right? If you want to have a more close community and to have more discussions, and then maybe you can consider having a Facebook group, right? So just choose 1 or 2 channel, and then grow in that particular platforms. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, and I'm glad
Comments?
you mentioned good old newsletters, because when people think about social media, they immediately think about Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all that. But newsletter, if you do it in an scheduled and kind of like authentic way, you actually get a higher hits in terms of return with newsletter than just Instagram, or all this more like mass and kind of like less targeted approach. I will actually go back to that later. So
remember when the old days, like if we host events, well, there would be like a list to collect emails, right? And that's what newsletter does.
And I think
right.
people still like to do that. When with the right subject, and because the thing is, people already took the trouble to subscribe to your mailing list, or to have purchased, or to have worked with you before. Then if you send out a newsletter, which is not a spam, chances is that you probably will get a higher return in terms of engagement, or even the chance of buying your service.
Yeah, I like newsletter too, because it's also, I feel more safe to share some stuff here. So especially if I share my personal stories, then I can write it, because I know I'm going out as an email instead of putting into Instagram or social media. And we have here stories about content being deleted and stuff like that. So good. All right, well, let's leave that as that for now. Okay, so my number 3 is be consistent both in posting and in content. Right? I think same as yoga is teaching, consistency is key, meaning that if you just do what you can, if you're thinking about, okay, you know what, I'm just going to post twice a week and that's what I do, and be consistent with posting twice a week, right? And then you don't have to do every day, you know, thinking about how much you want to post, and then post regularly, right? And then also the same thing for content. I think it's a similar thing as share what you love, is you want to be quite consistent with content, because when you try to jump everywhere, then you're not exactly telling people what your message is and who you are, right? So repeating your message and being consistent in terms of even the content you are sharing is key. So let's say if you would like to share a tutorial, you can say, okay, you know what, every Wednesday I'm going to post a tutorial, and every Friday I'm going to share something more personal about myself, and then just keep it like that. And then it's also less overwhelming when you have a plan into timing that you are going to share your content. Yes.
And sometimes you even see people posting in such consistency that you will see, you know, on the grid, you know, every other grid is in this like a tile, and then maybe the next grid or next two grids would be a photo. Do you know what I mean? I think we are breaking up here. Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do that too.
So
it's not exactly necessary, honestly, right? You know, it's a lot of work when you have to grid and when you have to plan grid and everything. And we can have more conversations about this. But at that point, when you have to design a grid, we usually will be asking for outside help already, right? You know, and we can talk a bit more about that. But if you're doing that I see that are just more real stuff, it still works, right? You know, everyone is a little bit different. I have gone to a point that I like my social media to be a little bit more organized, but I didn't start off like that, and it was also still fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. And, number 4 is a little bit about content, right? And then I call it the 3 E's. So so we talk about the consistency on content, and so when it comes to content, I think we want to see that they should be, or they to up your game, right? Meaning that what do people really want to see? I think posting your photos, pretty photos, it's nice, right? But what does it do? Nothing really, right? So I would like you to consider when it comes to content, thinking about what yourself as a teacher, instead of making more a personal account, just sharing your beautiful photos, meaning that the content should be either 1, educational, right? So you're teaching something. 2, can be entertaining, right? So entertaining, people like it, right? You know, so sometimes you can share something about yourself, and it's fun, and we still want to be fun. And 3 is engaging. You can share some conversations, right? Or some topics that you think that would provoke students thinking, or sharing your student progress or something like that. So they're either engaging posts, educational posts, or entertaining posts. So you can actually separate them into a 1, 2, 3, and then you just alternate them, right? So if you're always educational, that may work, may not work, but it takes a lot of time, and sometimes you can be just entertaining. So yeah, that's my number 4: engaging, educational, or entertaining posts.
I absolutely agree. And I think you know, I think your next point we'll talk about, all actually besides posts, like an actual IG post or Facebook post, there are other things that will be quite actually more engaging now when it comes to IG algorithms, because they change all the time. So one thing, you know, 1 year this is in, and then they have moved on to something else. So
Yeah, correct. So that's my fifth one, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
I think actually ultimately, if you want to have a if you want to keep your Instagram with all your posts,
Mm-hmm.
how should I say it? It takes time. It takes time to actually
Mm-hmm.
build the content. So in some ways, I think more and more so, I would consider using more stories for engagement,
Mm-hmm.
right? More stories, so which is easy to post, doesn't take up a lot of
Yep.
time, or even just a short video. Use some of these funky features and have fun with it. Have
Mm-hmm.
fun with it. Or reels, right? Those take
Mm-hmm.
actually less time. It's more authentic. It's more real. You don't have to make the grid. You don't have to match the colors. So just show up more in stories. So even like if you're thinking about, I will make one post a week, and then other times just show it in stories. So just post up a reel and make it more authentic, and just have fun with it. And then I think that would be a good approach for especially people who are just starting.
Yeah, and
That's my
to be
five.
honest, right now, people are more engaged with reels, and
Yes.
so and posts are getting less and less kind of attention when it comes to uh, posts like across platforms like YouTube and it's all about all these like short stories, things that I mean, at least for this year, for now,
Yep. Yes.
reels and also IG stories are still big, and if you don't have the time, just focus more on this one,
Correct.
I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
I've done that too. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
am mostly just show up in stories, and
Mm.
if you really have longer tutorials, then you just post it once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then just do some short videos. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yours.
Okay, so for me, my 5 tips, and if we have time, we have a bonus one. Now, first of all, have a schedule. And to be honest, these are the 5 things that I should be doing as well myself. And I don't necessarily do them all the time. These are the things that I would like myself to do. And when I advise other people, this is the things that I tell them to do as well. So first of all, have a schedule. And if you look at some of the more successful IG accounts or any social media platforms, or even newsletter or whatnot, YouTube, they always have a schedule. So you plan it out. What are you going to do? Because once you have a plan, you can actually work backwards and and film whatever materials, and even write the contents, the captions beforehand, and use
Yep.
other third party apps like 𝘍𝘳𝘰𝘮 or things that will help
Family.
you plan everything, so you don't actually have to sit in front of a camera or your phone to post that. So this will actually, yes, it costs a little bit of money, but it will actually help you in the long run. Yeah.
I think that's a very good point. I'm just going to quickly add
Mm-hmm.
on. So currently I also batch. So I batch a couple of them, and I do plan ahead. And the way I
Mm-hmm.
plan ahead is I actually already planned kind of 1 month ahead, and I would change,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I already have some content, especially the video content, and then it kind
Mm-hmm.
of matches with what I teach as well. So let's say I am teaching alignment series for 6 weeks. So whatever tutorial it is going to be matched with my the theme of the week. And I actually have
Mm-hmm.
online class as well. So after my online class, I just shoot like a small reel, and then boom, I have
Mm-hmm.
everything, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a very good approach. So when you have a schedule, you work backward. You think it like you are planning your class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my second tip would be keep the whole IG, your Instagram, quite mono-themed. Meaning if this is your Victor Chow yoga or Core yoga or whatnot, then keep it most 99%, 99.5% yoga. Try not to post, oh, suddenly I'm going out for a drink, having a cocktail and whatnot, or walking a dog. You can post those in your personal IG, okay?
Or in stories.
Or in stories, because they
Yep.
fade in 24 hours. And don't be afraid to delete your stories or even previous posts if they are irrelevant to your what you're doing now through your current IG anymore, because otherwise your IG is just really all over the place. Now, remember, we're all trying to grow a presence or spread a message. The message should be clear. Unless you are already a celebrity, okay, unless you already have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, if you want to grow your followers consistently, either you come up with something super viral, or you have to have your account pretty mono-theme. However, you can still post something that is slightly off topic, like a milestone in your life, like getting married, or having a baby, or something very significant that's happened in your life. That is not about yoga. That is more about yourself. Okay, and I'll talk about that later. Okay.
Good point.
So keep it quite simple. If you look at my yoga, my Instagram, it's really just about yoga and the very, very occasional sourdough baking, and sometimes, my birthday, but otherwise it's really just yoga.
Yep.
My third point is share your students' progress or their milestones, or them graduating from one of the workshops or teacher trainings that you are. If you're not teaching teacher trainings yet, don't worry, just show their progress. Okay. People like seeing kind of like before and after, and people like to see how you can guide them into certain poses, or from a somewhere from here to there in terms of career. If some of your students are doing the headstand for the first time, why not post it with their consent? If there's even a picture of you helping them do that, or in a video form, post it with their consent. And I think this will make you let people get a taste of your style of teaching as well. And I think, that will get people a more kind of like a 360 view of what you like as a yoga teacher, rather than just showing fancy poses.
And just you, right? It's ultimately it's about our students too. Yes. I think that's a very good point. I should do that more. I like to do that. And students actually feel great when you ask them and they say, hi, can I share your progress? They actually really like that too. So don't be afraid to ask your students about their consent. Make sure you do. But they like it when the teacher is sharing the progress. Yes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teachers worry, about students' privacy, but as long as you ask, they're mostly okay.
As long as
that's my experience.
As long as they said okay, then you can post. And the other thing is, for me, I taught many different workshops, teacher trainings, and when they graduate, I always post about their graduation, so to speak.
Oh, that's another one. Don't be afraid to ask for testimonials, and you can post them, right? So don't be afraid if you're running workshops or something. Don't be afraid to ask your students and just say, hi, do you mind to write me a testimonial so I can share it? Don't be afraid, and that's your content. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the testimonial could be on like a feedback form, like a Google form format, or if they post something, something they've learned on, like as in a caption in Instagram, maybe screen cap them, store it. And if they're okay with you posting them, you can post them. If they don't mind you posting them, but they wish to remain anonymous, just cross out the name when you post them, and that's still also fine.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes I teach an online class. Students would come to me and say, "Oh, I tried this class, and it really helps me." And I would ask them, "Do you mind if I share this?" And then I just caption it and put it in my stories. It's quite easy. Yeah.
Okay. My fourth tip is be consistent with the photography and color tone. Which means use a more or less similar filter for most of the time. Okay, that doesn't mean that you can't change the color tone or you can't change the filter that you use, but try to keep the tone Because remember, social media is by and large a very visual thing. Even though, okay, you may say it's very skin deep, but if you want to make it a platform where you can share your message, where you can explore different opportunities, you need to make it pretty. Okay, people are drawn to pretty things. So keep the photography consistent, keep the color tone consistent. Usually people are more drawn to a kind of like a bluer, colder tone. So you see actually a lot of people, they use a filter that makes the pictures slightly more grayscale, more blue. But of course, I mean, especially it depends on what you do. If your work, it's very, very much related to like the beach, sunshine, and all of that, feel free to use a warmer tone as well. And if you happen to photograph food, don't use blue or gray tone because that's not very appetizing. Use a warmer tone. If you happen
I think ultimately,
to,
yeah. I think before you if you just started to get on social media, or if you want to consider how I can up my game and change a little bit, you first think about what are the couple brand colors that you're going to use. I think everyone should be on Canvas right now. It's the best thing ever. If you don't know Canvas, please check it out. And then you just like have a couple of colors that you use, for your wordings, for your things. And then, and you talk about filters, right? And I'm talking about also, using the same kind of fonts and words if you're using them, and just make it, again, it's about consistency and being organized and neat, right? And then that would make your feed feels more welcoming and looks good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My fifth tip is to talk about you. I know it sounds very narcissistic. I know it sounds a bit, like self-promotion, but I think people ultimately are interested in you if your stories are interesting. Now, I'm not saying that you should fabricate your life, but talk about your journey. Talk about things that you are struggling with. Talk about things that you are good at. Just be genuine. And this is probably the hardest tip to do. To talk about yourself. Because the best story is actually in you. But not some random inspirational IG quotes that you can find on Google. Talk about your own journey, your own struggle, how you got here from this humble beginning, or maybe you're now at the humble beginning. Talk about where you want to be. Talk about how you started your yoga journey. Talk about how you teach, but talk about you.
I think this is the most amazing, most important point of all the things that we talk about, because we ultimately as teachers want people to know about us. But in the class, they want to come to your class and you need to teach. So it's hard for us to actually share who we are and let people know who we are. And the social media is such a fantastic channel to actually share about your journey as a yoga teacher, your practice, your whatever that is, your struggles, your everything. And people can see you. And ultimately, people really want to see who you truly are instead of just your class and technique and skill, right? You don't want to talk about these things in class. So this is a great way to share about yourself. So that's I think out of all the points, I like this one the most, including my points.
Thank you. And also, I guess when you teach, don't be afraid to ask people to follow you. Or I think to follow you might sound a little bit cheesy and kind of like tongue-in-cheek, but one of the ways that I would tell people to follow me is to connect with me on social media. So like after class, especially, this weekend, I'll be teaching next weekend, I'll be teaching at, in Yoga Fest. Cora will be on stage with me as well. you know, and I always end the class with, you know, please connect with me on Instagram or whatnot. My name is Victor. And, you know, send me pictures, send me messages, questions. There are many different ways. And yes, maybe you're not teaching at a yoga festival yet, but, you know, if you're teaching in a class or classes that you organize yourself, you can tell them to ask them to connect with you. Use social media to send you questions, because who's exchange phone numbers now anyway, and make sure you get back to them as well. Yeah, so, you know, this way you'll be surprised by how many more followers you will get through that.
Yeah, I think getting back to students, I think that's a good point. Actually, from time, like for the engagement, right? You know, go to your, I should do that more, and go and reply to students' messages.
Do you not do that?
No, like, so I don't do often enough. So sometimes it takes a little bit, like sometimes go through a week, and then I would go back and then write the DMs I do. But the messages under the post, I can do a little bit better.
Oh, like captions. Oh yeah, of course. Because if you miss that, it would just get pushed down, and then but I mean, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that Kim Kardashian doesn't reply to her comments. So, you know, so you don't have to worry about that.
They have people to do that. Okay. All right.
For them. Now,
you want to talk about your bonus one? Yeah.
Yeah. So, my bonus one is work with brands. Okay. Or like what they call collaboration. And, you know, once you start growing your following on Instagram or any other platform, some brands might connect with you and try to, you know, give you a pair of pants and then some pills and whatnot, so that you can help them, you know, with a promotion or shout out. And at first it might sound a little bit cheesy and unabashedly kind of like, you know, getting freebies, but you'll be surprised how one brand collaboration will lead to the next, and then you will start to work with various brands, and that's how you actually grow into different and tap into different communities. I do that a lot, and I used to be a Lululemon ambassador, and through being an ambassador, I got to connect with many different more yogis around the world. And also there are so many other different brands that I work with, like recently with Nutrition Kitchen, and also with 𝘁𝗺𝘂, you know, a very good friend of mine, you know, started this skincare product. And we just come up with different campaigns and different ways of working with each other. It's not necessarily, okay, you send me this and I'll put it here. Oh my God, it looks so good. That kind of collaboration, but something that can be quite authentic, engaging, and interesting. And it's always up for discussion. So come look at what other yogis or influencers are doing. If you just post with a product, that's really quite boring. But, you know, look at different ways of how to do that. And I'm sure I can talk about it for another 10 hours. We're running out of time, but I'm sure you'll be able to find something that is quite interesting, engaging, and mutually beneficial for you and the brand.
I agree. It's not about the freebie, you know. It's really about, like, we are building community. We are trying to reach out to more people, and you supporting some health and wellness brands that resonate with you. It's what we do, right? Ultimately, we are sharing our message and sharing what we like, right? And then if that's the brand that you like, then sure, share it. You know, why not? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then work with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I should start doing IG Live to talk about, you know, how to work with brands or how to become an ambassador for anything, not just Lululemon, but anyway.
Well, yes, I do that too. Actually, sometimes I reach out to people. I say, I really like your brand. Would you like any collaboration? Because I think we can mutually benefit with each other, right? And then I do that sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes people reach out to me, but don't be afraid to reach out to other people as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so do you have anything else? Shall we just very quickly summarize our 5 points?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
My 5 points are one, share what you love and passionate to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So don't fall in the trap
Mm-hmm.
of writing whatever other people are writing.
Mm-hmm.
Two, choose one or two platforms only, right?
Mm-hmm.
And grow the audience there. Number three, be
Yep.
consistent in both your posting and in your content. Number
Mm-hmm.
four is the 3 E's when it comes to content. They should be engaging, educational,
Mm-hmm.
or entertaining, or somewhat combination of those. Five,
Mm-hmm.
you don't always need to make long posts. Use more short videos, reels, and stories, so
Mm-hmm.
you can keep engaging with your audience without a lot of work.
Okay, good. My 5 points to up your social media game are have a schedule, very, very important. And keep your IG, if yoga is something that you're doing or offering, keep it mostly about yoga. Or baking, for example, keep it mostly about baking, but not all over the place. Number three, share your students' progress, see where they are, the before and after. And number four, be consistent with your photography, the style, and also the color tone. Number five, talk about you, which is most likely the hardest one to be authentic, share yourself, really, not just some crazy poses, not some of the brands that you use. However, number six is work with brands, okay? Don't be afraid to work with brands, explore different opportunities, grow your communities from there. So these are my 5+1 points.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I think we're done here today. And
Yep.
any questions, any comments, please leave it for us. And we're back on Wednesday, right? What's the topic? Do you know?
I don't remember. Do you?
Okay, so I'm gonna
We're
read it out,
terrible.
and I actually want to
Okay.
clarify what we're gonna talk about. It says you are a new yoga teacher if you are doing these. That's the topic.
Okay. So I would say these are the mistakes or the good things that you might be doing. Okay. So for
Okay.
example, you're a brand new yoga teacher if you bring your teacher training manual to a class, or you have a big long, notes with your class, something like that, or you basically are very nervous and things like that.
Okay,
So I think
it will
this
be a
is
little
quite.
bit provocative, next time. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
so it will be on Wednesday at 8:30, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, good. All right, have a great
Okay.
weekend, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.
All right.
Bye.
See you all. Bye.
Bye-bye.